I dreamt that I was in Tampa at some point in the distant future, or even in another dimension. I couldn't really tell. And me and my mom went to a wind valley where we were going on a hot air balloon ride. First, we were kind of skimming the ground, and then caught some airtime. But we were both hanging on the outside of the basket. At some point, I told her that I had to go to Hillsborough City to get some things. And I just jumped off the basket and started floating down. Then I realized that the wind was strong enough to carry me, since I had on the same type of suit that airbenders wore, then I would have no problem floating. So I float over for a while, and then I reach an area that's kind of like a hallway, and there's a big gap and a station on the other side. At the bottom of the gap is the calm sea. People are getting ready to float over to the station, but I cut in front to catch the wind, and I float over there by dodging some walls and signs in midair. At this station, my goal is to meet a man that's part of my mercenary group. I think his name was Chomp, and he takes me and two girls, who were also part of our mercenary group, across the bay to Hillsborough City. Once there, I make a comment that the place reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy VIII, and they're surprised that I've never been there before. As we enter, Chomp gestures to the front desk people, and they recognize him, so they let us all in. We all go up to his apartment. The apartment turns out to be a small, futuristic-looking room with only two beds. One for him and one for this other ex-comrade, who is this dangerous-looking girl that dresses in all black. All of a sudden, a whole bunch of people wearing all black and blue make their way towards us in the hallway of the apartment building right outside the apartment. And they start to send out some warning shots. We quickly scatter and get into formation and return fire. One of the enemies, who's really skilled, runs over and disarms us, but we keep fighting him tenaciously, and we refuse to give up. Some of the other enemies manage to knock out the two girls that were with us and start carrying away the younger one, at which point the really skilled guy, who's kind of kicking our butts, backs up and brings out some kind of an X-ray looking screen, kind of like from the one from Total Recall, and about 8 other people join him with Gatling guns. Right as they start shooting, I call in an airstrike from our captain. I call, "Cap, we need help. We're under heavy fire." Then a helicopter comes to the side of the building and completely annihilates our enemies. Later on that night, we're all at the hospital and find out that they wanted our youngest operative because she had a very rare blood type. And we walk around outside the front of the hospital, and the young operative's sister is there to thank us. She's talking to the other members, but for some reason, I get very focused on the architecture of the outside of the hospital, and all I can end up doing is climb the building and the arches that are all around. And that's how my dream ends. The end.